Hey folks, welcome to another Triple T Thursday. For those just joining us, that's Tools, Tips, and Talk, where we'll discuss info for the knife maker. In today's episode, I'm actually working on a batch of knives, a batch of stainless knives, but I really want to stonewash them. Can you stonewash stainless steel? Let's find out. So here's the knife that I want to stonewash. This is AEBL steel. And I've never stonewashed this before. I've done a lot of stonewashing on carbon steels, but never stainless and never AEBL. So when you don't know how to do something, you reach out to a friend. So I called Brent Smith over at Bald Man Knife and Tool because he does this all the time, mostly now with MagnaCut. But he said he sees no reason why it shouldn't work with AEBL. So he suggested throwing this in ferric for about 45 minutes and then drying it off and putting some mineral oil or WD-40 on it, let those oxides sit into it, then clean it off, put it in the tumbler, and see what you get. So that's what we're going to do first. And you can see I got a lot of these to do, so I want to test it out on this one first. And if you watched last week's episode on the laser etching, you saw this is the one I put my maker's mark in with the Laser Pecker 3. If you haven't seen that video, there's a link up in the corner. Definitely go check that out. So what I'm hoping is that this is deep enough that it will look good after the after it's been tumbled. And if not, on the rest, I'll tumble it first and then put my maker's mark on after. Afterwards, we'll come back and we'll talk about the handle material and how I do handles on this, because I want to make sure that I see the stonewash on the spine and everything around the handle. So now I'm going to put it into my ferric solution, which is down here. I've got a bubbler set up, so it's going to bubble the solution and put it in there for 45 minutes. I already have this thing washed with soap and water, so it's nice and clean, and into the ferric it goes. So here it is after 45 minutes. I just took it out of the acid, and I just blew it off with some compressed air. Now I'm going to just take some mineral oil, coat it, and let it sit for a while. Hopefully it darkens up. You can see kind of where I had my fingerprint right there. So hopefully I can get that off with some mineral oil and it stays that dark. It turns out as soon as you touch the stainless, the gray portion, it kind of comes right off and leaves a really dark oxide layer underneath. And that's what you're seeing when I'm rubbing the mineral oil on it. So here it is after a couple hours sitting with mineral oil. It's sufficiently dark right now. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple places like here that's a little lighter, but I think that's cool. It gives it a little character. So now we're going to put it into the tumbler. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention before, I use this stainless steel wire just to hang things, and you guys can probably barely see this, but just as I lifted it up, this snapped. So after 45 minutes, it went right through this stuff. So be careful. Next time, I think I'll loop it a couple of times just so I don't lose it at the bottom of the ferric tank. So here's my tumbling system. It's really low tech. It's just a piece of PVC, and it's got this media. So I recommend you buy actual media. So these are little ceramic pieces. The ceramic stuff is important because it always maintains really sharp edges. Don't just go get Riverstone or anything like that. You want it to be sharp and put those little nicks into the finish. So we're going to put this, I'm going to set it up on the 2x72 and we'll give it a roll. I'm going to spray the inside with some WD-40. Okay, drop the knife in, seal it up, and then we're going to tumble it. So here's my tumbling system. It's just a couple of casters that I've screwed into a board, and I just clamped that onto my rest. I did put some soft, this is lining for tool chests. I just put it here so the belt has something to grip on, and you want to run this as slow as you can get it and have it still turn. I also want to mention our channel sponsor, Maritime Knife Supply. If you need anything knife related, whether it's steel, ferrochloride, handle material, spacers, you name it, epoxy, anything you need for knife making, check out Maritime Knife Supply. The link's down in the description. You can shop in US dollars, take advantage of that US to Canadian exchange rate. They have quick shipping as fast as any of the other US sites, so go check them out. So here's the knife after about, I think it was maybe 8 or 10 minutes in the tumbler while I was doing other stuff. I'm really pleased with it. I love how it looks. I've just sprayed this again with some WD-40 just to clean it off, but looks really cool. There is this one shiny spot, no idea why, but it had some character. But the spine looks great, so I'm really happy with that. It got way darker than I even thought it would get. So let's talk about how to finish these now with the handle. So let's talk about how to finish this. So one of the things that I think is important for this kind of knife is when you put the scales on, you don't go and grind the spine and the belly of the knife. It just looks really odd. You want that nice finish all the way around. So what I do is before I do the stonewash, I will get my scales and put them on, and I apply them with these Gulso bolts. And these are little threaded bolts. You countersink them into your scales here, and I do it so that the heads of them are beneath the surface here. And they give a mechanical connection. And I still epoxy them on afterwards. But these allow you to put the scales on, grind the outside, then take them off, and finish the knife, and then you know they're going to go back on exactly the same way. So that's really cool. So now I will, I still have to contour these scales, but that's easily done. And then I'll sand them off the blade, put them back on, and they'll be done. So here's the set of knives all done. I'll take you through each one of them. So, and I did them in pairs, so the pairs are all the same. Red liners on this one. This one turned out really nice. Nice, even stonewash on this one. Really good. Very happy, and I love the wood here. This one is the first one I did. So there's a little area here on this side, and it kind of just peeks out here that just didn't seem to get dark, which is fine. I was not worried about that. I'm going to skip one. I go to this one. Again, really good. Beautiful stone wash. This one as well. There's just a tiny little bit here. And then we get to these two. So this one, the flats on this one just would not darken, but it was the same on both sides. So I just went with it and thought it looks pretty cool. And then we get to the problem child. I etched this one for probably close to 2 hours total in a bunch of sessions. I just could not get it to etch this one side. You can see it's still a little, you can still see a little silver here. It just didn't want to etch. So, yeah, that's the way it's going to look. So we'll see if someone wants to pick it up. These will all be available on my website later today if you want to check them out. TyrellKnifeworks.com. Big thanks to Brent Smith at Baldman Knife and Tool for the phone a friend and help me through this process. I'm really happy with how these turned out. The fact that you can stonewash stainless steel, so they'll be nice and resistant to any kind of rust. So overall, really happy with these. The one thing I wish I had was a sandblaster. I think if I would have sandblasted these and had a rougher surface before going in the acid, I wouldn't have had these problems. So maybe a sandblaster in the future. I just don't have the room for it here at the shop, but we'll see. All right, folks, thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next one.